People think it's a weakness, a flaw, a vulnerability. They look at those who show mercy, those who extend a hand, those who choose kindness, and they see prey. But what they fail to understand is that compassion is a blade, sharpened not by malice, but by forgiveness. It's a weapon disguised as virtue, a silent executioner that leaves scars far deeper than any blade could carve. The cruelty of compassion lies in its ability to haunt. Because when you extend kindness to the undeserving, it's not a sign of fragility, it's a sentence that will echo in their minds long after their sins should have been forgotten. Think about it. The blade of vengeance may leave a wound, but a wound heals. Betrayal may leave a scar, but scars fade. But compassion is the torment that never ends. When someone knows they deserve punishment, deserve pain, deserved retribution, and what they received was grace, that grace becomes a burden, a suffocating weight that never lifts. Your mercy becomes their torment, your kindness, their eternal shame. Because deep down, they know they were given a gift they had no right to, a grace they hadn't earned. And that's what makes it so excruciatingly beautiful. It's a twisted irony. Punishment can be forgotten, but mercy haunts forever. The regret of being given a second chance and squandering it, of being forgiven and still falling short. That's a regret that never dies. While vengeance is quick and brutal, compassion is slow and corrosive. It eats away at the mind, at the conscience, at the very essence of a person, until it's all they can think about. Compassion turns the mirror inward, forcing them to see every vile act, every unworthy deed, reflected back in the light of the grace they didn't deserve. And that sight is agony. Because compassion is the reminder of what they could have been and chose not to be. Imagine them, replaying every moment, every sin, every cruelty, haunted by the memory of the mercy they received instead of the punishment they expected. It's a ghost that lingers, a phantom that whispers in the darkness. You were spared. And for what? That question, that hollow question, becomes a knife that twists, a blade that never dulls. It's the agony of knowing they were handed a chance for redemption, and they spat on it. Compassion gives them the rope to hang themselves, and lets them unravel in the torment of their own conscience. And the deeper they sink, the more your mercy becomes their tormentor, your grace, the instrument of their suffering. Because compassion is a mirror, it reflects their own emptiness, their own darkness, their own failures. You, by showing mercy, become a reminder of everything they lack, everything they will never have. It's a constant, unrelenting reminder that while you chose grace, they chose ruin. And no matter how much time passes, that regret, that eternal regret, will haunt them. Every smile you offered, every kindness you extended, becomes a dagger in their pride, a wound that festers with every passing year. And the worst part? The worst part is that the world will never see their suffering. Because compassion, true compassion, is invisible. Its scars are hidden deep within the soul, unseen by anyone but the one who bears them. That's the true horror of compassion. It doesn't need to be wielded violently. It's subtle, quiet. It doesn't demand a stage, doesn't crave attention. It simply is. And in that stillness, in that quiet grace, it becomes unbearable. Because what could be more torturous than receiving mercy from someone you sought to destroy? What could be more agonizing than realizing that the very person you tried to break chose to spare you. That choice, that unspoken forgiveness, is the final nail in the coffin. It's not just a mark of your strength, it's a condemnation of their weakness. Their eternal regret will be fueled by your compassion. While vengeance breeds resentment, compassion breeds self-loathing. Vengeance gives them a villain, someone to blame, someone to fight against. But compassion forces them to turn inward, to battle the demons of their own creation. It traps them in a cycle of guilt and shame, a relentless loop that no amount of penance can break. Your compassion is the chain that binds them, the prison that holds them. It's not a show of submission, it's a declaration of dominance. Because to spare someone who sought to harm you is to assert absolute power over their very soul.